not appear as scheduled. Debates is an absolute lie. Okay? The only moment, the only
I think someone's saying that.
instances where we had a public debate, which was a 24-minute question and answer session down in Yorkville. It happened 2 weeks before the election. Up until that time, I believe he insulted the constituencies of the 14th District thrice. Once at a meet and greet at College of Lake County, up in Grays Lake, again up at the McHenry County League of Women Voters, in McHenry County, and also locally Kane County League of Women Voters. I want to assure you that I would relish the opportunity to match wits with our present congressman. I wouldn't even call him a representative because he is not. So I just want to make, for those in the room here that heard the comment made, it is an absolute untruth, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay? But for those that don't know me, my name is Jim Walz, 54 years old. I have been married to my bride around it for 31 years. We have two wonderful children. Stephen, who's 25, works and lives in Boston, landscape architect. If you go down to the Chicago River, walk down to Chicago all during the summer, he was a lead designer in this new thing called the Jetty. Okay, so if you go down the Chicago River walk, the company he works for out of Boston, was the lead architect for all the projects down there. My son had a lot to do with that. My daughter Rachel just turned 22, lives and works in Denver, Colorado, as a registered nutritionist and dietitian. My wife, wonderful wife, has been a teacher for 31 years. Do we have any teachers in the room? God bless you. I'll get to teachers in a minute. But part of my resume includes, occupationally, I'm in outside sales. I made a mistake 15 years ago, turning off sports and music and turning on current events. And through the process of going through the various options on the radio, I came across a radio talk show host who changed my life. Because also on that show, he introduced me to somebody who taught me to believe if you want to see positive change, you have to be that change. His name is Bernie Sanders. The show itself is Tom Hartman's show, so if you ever get a chance to tune in at 8:20 CTT, between 11 and 2, he's terrific. So I knew at that time that my life was going to change both civically and politically. But my children were at an age where I didn't really want to get involved at that time. I figured my place was at home, and I wanted to wait till my daughter graduated high school. Well, two things happened her senior year, the election of Joe Walsh and Citizens United decision. So I kind of fast forwarded things a year, got involved with Move to Amend, because several things that really harm our country is the health of our democracy, the health of our environment, and the health of each other. All right. The health of our democracy, the Citizens United case, was my first stab in the civics. I organized and was able to get an advisory question on the Warren Township ballot to declare that corporations are not people and money is not free speech back in November of 2012. It did pass by a 2-1 margin, showing that that issue is a bipartisan issue with no party lines. And then, as you know, Illinois became the 16th state to file Congress and add a constitutional amendment again to declare that corporations are not people and money is not free speech. As far as the environment, I am a advocate for all renewable energies. As stewards of the earth, it is our moral imperative to reduce our dependency on the fossil fuel industry. As a school board member at Warren Township High School in Gurnee, one of the largest school districts in the state of Illinois, I have championed the cause to the point where we are into the process of putting solar panels on both of our campuses. In addition, on-the-ground solar applications at both of our campuses for educational purposes, on all things STEM. We need to invest in our intellectual infrastructure, our students, our teachers, and our buildings. Okay. With these projects, it's estimated that we're going to be able to generate 63% of our energy to the savings of our district out there, $550,000 a year. And in addition to that, as a school district, we also own 100 acres of land as a school district, and we are talking to county officials about getting some text language changed in the county for codes we're talking to them about putting solar farm on 60 of those acres as well. So I'm very excited about what the potential is. We need to heal our earth, not this anti-tractor. Okay, that's an abomination as well. I heard that word before. And then the health of each other. All right. Let me be crystal clear. I'm in Medicare for all kind of a guy. All right. You know, I know I might be speaking to people with like minds here, and it's terrific. But you know, I want to pound certain things through here. We're the only industrialized country in the world that does not offer basic medical care to their citizens, and we're supposed to be number one. Give me a break. We're the only health care that health insurance companies provide is stress. Okay? And we need to take the profit motive out of our pharmaceutical industry and out of our insurance But also keep in mind this. You know, if we can etch a sketch everything, boom. Universal health care, Medicare for all, right off the bat. But given the system that we have, things have to be done gradually. Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody knows that my goal would be Medicare for all. We can't do things over. Things like this cannot happen overnight. The system would not be able to absorb the enormity of the number of people. Okay, but there are three things right off the bat that we can do that I think are easy to do. One of which is, just as we the people, you know, the government, are able to negotiate prices on behalf of the Veterans Administration, and just as we the people, you know, the government, are able to negotiate prices on behalf of Medicaid, I believe that we the people, the government, should be allowed to negotiate prices on behalf of Medicare as well. And or re-import drugs from other countries. Now, Company A sells drugs A to Canada, and that same company sells it us for, you know, $4. No. That's not the way it should be. We have robbed our middle class. Everybody in this room, and another point I'd like to make clear. We talk about the job creators, you know, the people who have. The people who create jobs are people in this room. All right? People who make their money and spend their money in the local communities, you create jobs. You are the job creators. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, so the one thing the Republicans have been masters of doing over the last 35 years, they've hijacked the English language. Us thinking up is down and down is up, left is right. Okay, we are the job creators. We need to put more money in the pockets of people like you and me. Because we go spend our money. It's called a virtuous cycle. We have to churn our money to create jobs. Any tax cuts to the rich is not going to happen. Another thing that another topic of content for me is Social Security and the falsehood that is in danger of solvency. It's nonsense. Okay? I used to go, you know, one of the things that, you know, if I'm fortunate enough, first, to get my name on the ballot, okay, B, to get through the primary season, okay, there's going to be challengers, and challengers are good for you, okay, to give the constituents of the 14th district, you know, choices, okay. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to run against my opponents. I'm running for the people of the 14th district, okay. But one of the things, if I am fortunate enough to get past that point, I know what I have to do to win the election in November of 2018, okay. What I have to do is go talk to independents and leaning Republicans. Okay? It's the one thing I found out knocking on 9,695 doors throughout the district. Okay? I'm like all over the place. The one thing I found with certainty is that on a door-to-door basis, Republicans and Democrats were more alike than we're not. Okay? Now, yes, there are fringes. We can all agree on that. Okay? But I have family and friends that I will love to death, till my death. They're Republicans. We can agree to disagree. But 80% of the time, there's so much gray area of agreement that we have to work on those things of agreement. Okay, about politics, I think people can come around from Medicare and all. And another thing, Social Security. So I'm going to be going behind enemy lines. I went to Joe Walz town halls. Okay, there's one on tape. But I also had an incident, taped incident with Bruce Schreiber, our present governor. But Joe Walz, I used to go to town halls. We used to have crowds like this, maybe 50% more at different locations. And for some reason, he would always allow me to ask him a question. Because I know the question I was going to ask him, I'm not going to change his mind, okay? But if I ask the right question, people in the audience, you can teach by asking questions, okay? Teachers should know that, right? So I simply asked the question. A lot of people, maybe most of you do, maybe I'm sure all of you do. But there's a cap on Social Security insurance. Okay? Anybody that makes up to over $118,000 a year does not put in Social Security insurance anymore. So if somebody makes $500,000, $1 million, $5, $10 million, $50 million, they only pay up to the cap of $118,000. If we simply lifted the cap, okay, they would make Social Security solvent in perpetuity, and we'd be able to expand, not to reduce Social Security benefits. So that's another thing that I would strive for as well. So the point is, after all of those town halls, so without fail, after each one, I was probably 4 town halls that I went to. Each time, several people would say, "Thank you so much for answering the question." I had no idea that was a fact. Again, there are easy fixes to all of these things, in my mind at least. But again, change doesn't necessarily, positive change that I'd like to see doesn't necessarily happen overnight. We have to appeal to other people's sensibilities, because again, we're more likely to be on that. Over the last 15 years as well, I drive a lot. Outside sales, drive 40,000 miles a year. You have random thoughts, and it's like a little play on words here. I can't do, if pro is the opposite of con, what does that say about the words progress and kindness? Keep in mind, I know the difference of progress is regress, but so for your teachers out there, but I'm excited by what I see throughout the district, throughout the country for that matter. Our present occupant of the White House is certainly energized, to the point that everybody is here. Thank you so much for being here on a day like this. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm also here to answer any questions. If anybody has questions along the way, feel free to pop up and answer the questions. I also have, I'm not ready to formally make any declarative statements. I'm 99% sure. I've got to dot some I's and cross some T's here. Before I really officially declare my candidacy, but you can be assured that just as I did the first time around, I promise you that I will hustle. I was grossly outspent, I knew going into this that I would be outspent, no question about it, but I was not going to allow myself to be out hustled. Okay? During the primary season, there were 2 other candidates. I received the endorsements from the Tribune, the Sun-Times, and the Daily Herald, and I won a 3-way race back in March of last year with 43% of the vote in a 3-way race. And during the general election, I'm not embarrassed by my efforts. I'm a little dismayed at the numbers, but as time goes on, I received 137,000 votes in the district that was thrown to be leaning Republican, which I'm telling you right now, it's not true. Okay? I mean, there are more of us out there than there are of them. And I did this on $20,000. Okay? Nobody owes me anything up until now, and nobody owes me anything from this point forward as far as volunteerism or you giving me the time of your day. I'm humbled by you even being here listening to me. Okay? But I'm going to need a lot of help, no question about it. From social media, okay, volunteerism, parade attendees. Okay, my wife. It'll be a formal announcement when my wife is by my side. Okay? The other times you'll see my wife are at the parades. She's a teacher. Okay? She's a tough nut. Right? And she'll be in charge of distribution of T-shirts and other stuff like that. So you'll see my wife throughout the campaign on the night I declare, and also throughout the campaign. One other thing, and then questions that you're going to get. 35 years ago, family of 4, we live on one single income and live the American dream. All right? Home ownership, send your kids off to school if that's what the choice was. Going to pay vacations a couple times a year, get a new car every 3 years, be able to pay it off relatively soon. Okay? Now you need 2 incomes just to get by. And that doesn't even take into account the soaring cost of higher education and the soaring cost of healthcare. All right? That's why teachers are so important now than ever before. Okay? Because at school, that is the place where, in a lot of instances, a lot of children, that's the only place where they get any structure or discipline. Teachers are surrogate parents to a lot of the kids out here growing up. Okay, so I tip my hat to teachers. I love teachers. Okay. So, let's face it, I'm in sales. Listen, there are salesmen that ought not be. Maybe there are some teachers that ought not be. But I know damn well sure there's a House of Representatives in the 14th District that ought not be now as well. Okay? I've got a couple of clipboards. I'd ask that they be advanced. If anybody is interested, I know there's going to be other people who speak constantly. But I can really use a lot of assistance, especially social media, things like that. I know with my campaign infrastructure was pretty barren last time around. But again, I was not going to be out hustling. Hopefully some of you saw me at the door. I don't know. Hopefully you saw some of my yard signs. District, Kane. All right? And I hope that you see a lot more of those, a lot more door hangers, a lot more stuff from me. Okay? I believe that I have the right message. Okay? Let me give you this one. I always thought I had the right message, but what iced it for me was this. Again, I like going behind enemy lines because I think it's terrific. I had a lot of fun with it. And I had, honest to goodness gracious, the longest and best conversations I had with people who were public. And that is no kidding. One incident down in Plano comes to front of my mind here instantly. It was towards the end of the campaign. It was in the fall, and I was excited the opportunity to get some certain information on Bernie Sanders. I knocked on Bernie Sanders' doors because the only way I was going to be able to pull this off was through exposure. Exposure for me was yard signs. I was hitting those doors. Okay? The one day I was down in Plano, and a gentleman called me from across the street after planting my sign across the street. He says, he walks out of his garage. He says, Jim, I want to know one thing from you and one thing only. He goes, I need another drink. He said, I just want to let you know. I just wanted to let you know what my thoughts on healthcare was. Being the Bernie grad, I'm a Medicare for all kinds of things. Sticks out. He sticks out his hand. He says, Jim, I'm a Republican. I'm a union member, and I want your sign my head. He goes, because if it wasn't for the fact that I had insurance through my union, my bills, I've been sick for the last 2 years. I've been sick, and then my bills are north of $200,000 a year. And he doesn't want to have happen to somebody else that it happened to him. He says, Jim, last week I went to the doctor. I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Hey, this young man is 36, 37 years old. He has 2 kids walking around, Listen, he told me, until you're bit by the snake, you don't know what's important to you. Okay? Republican, all right? We're more like, disease knows no boundaries. It doesn't discriminate versus, liberals, conservatives, Republicans, Democrats. It affects us equally. Okay? And, there's a lot more on my, as far as my thoughts on what I think about women's right to choose. How people in Washington who are stale, pale, and male, old white men, okay, can tell women what to do with their own decision. Okay? I think it's disgusting. All right? my choice would be, but who am I to tell anybody else what to do? As Gloria Steinem said, I think if men gave birth, abortion would be acceptable.
So you're pro-life because you're going to have healthcare for all.
I'm the healthcare.
That's pro-life.
Yes. And everything, but this whole pro-life thing. When I hear Republican out of Washington, bureaucrats say they're pro-life, they're pro-birth. Because once a baby is born, they'll take away WIC, they'll take away SNAP, they'll take away Medicaid.
They want to take away maternity benefits. They want to take away maternity benefits.
It's ridiculous in this knowing what happens. I don't know how they think. But that's about. I could have a lot more to say, but I can answer any questions or concerns, or please go ahead.
I know the last time you ran, you did not get a whole lot of money from the Democrats. I'm hoping that this year, in light of the fact that Randy is probably vulnerable, you're going to be able to get money from that.
Okay.
Maybe it actually goes more towards Bill, but I want to know if
Sure.
I'm going to get money.
Thank you for your question. As I demonstrated earlier with the fact that I ran a national campaign of $20,000, no, I got zero of it. Not only that, I called the DCCC twice. Didn't even get a phone call back. Okay? I anticipate. They have their reasons for what they do. You can agree with them or you can't. Okay? If they think it's viable, maybe they'll help. If they don't, they won't. Okay? But I'm not an establishment. Maybe they're looking for an establishment guy. I'm not that guy. Okay? I'm not going to be that guy, and I will take contributions. I would love Bernie Sanders $27 increments. I'm not going to shut out corporate money for people who work for corporations, but if they come from a renewable industry, okay, anything that I'm for, okay, there. Okay, big oil, forget about it. Big pharma, forget about it. Wall Street, forget about it. And insurance companies, forget about it. Okay, it's not going to happen. I'll sign a pledge. I'll do whatever. If something slips through the cracks, something brings to my attention, they get their money back. They won't have to. Okay. It's hard for me to say. They have not reached out to me to this point. But again, I'm going to work with what I have, not with the things that I can. All right. And that's the approach I took last time around. And other than being married to my wife for 31 years. And 2 great kids. Running for Congress was the greatest experience in my life. Right? 7 years ago, I wasn't even a precinct committeeman. Right? I don't know. Different. I wanted to wait till my daughter left high school because that was the right thing for me to do at that time in my life. And we all sit here at different times of our lives. So whether it's the one thing we have to protect ourselves against over the next year and a half, don't get burnt out. Okay? Pick an issue, pick a candidate, pick something. All right? But I went from being the husband of my wife and the father of my kids to then being the precinct committee was on my resume. Then when I moved to amend was on my resume. Help in that situation out. And volunteered for a lot of different campaigns. And no candidate at any level can do it without the help of others. Okay? Geneva recently had some tremendous amount of success. Okay? And it all comes from the grassroots. You can make such a large impact in such a what you might think is a small way. You make that's just the ripple effect. What you do, whether it's helping a candidate get their name on a ballot, okay? You get the signatures on a petition, posted a meet and greet. I can use those. So things like that. So one more thing, and then I'll answer your question. I was at I'm a progressive, and I was at one of the local meetings here a couple months back. This is before our most recent elections. It was a Thursday night, and petitions had to be signed and sent in for the next week, but you had to put your petition by the following day. Okay? There's a young man by the name of Tommy Dorsey, okay, who ran for the Park District of Batavia. Is that correct? It was a Thursday night, and I don't know what was said or talked to him. I know I talked to him, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one. But the conversation went from him going there and just trying to find out what to do and how to help to the following day, pulling the petitions before the deadline, getting enough signatures to get his name on the ballot. And I was one of the Park District chairman, I think, in the take. So, from it can happen. And it's not, don't let it intimidate you. I think I'm a school board member. I love it. I just got reelected, and it's a lot of fun. You saying?
Jeff, you were talking about it before, back in September, October, when we came to one of these meetings, we were lucky to have 8 or 10 people there. It was pretty tough sledding and things have changed.
Absolutely.
I have a question for the group. If you or another progressive candidate in this district chooses to run for Congress, how many of us in here right now will commit to canvassing in your own neighborhood? Okay, we're gonna have to put together a pretty good campaign organization to get us all going.
What's the help in an organization? Fill in the organizational pie chart. Let me know about that too. Write that on the list. I'm sorry. You had a question.
Sure, actually, there's a woman right there who's had her hand up, and then I can go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Democrats are so nice.
My question is, often our backgrounds make us who we are. As you can obviously see, someone that has been rich their whole lives, like a Donald Trump, they have a lot of issues or understanding of other people's problems. So I guess I'm kind of asking you, give us an idea of your background, how it formed you, and what were you like before you heard about Bernie and you changed?
Okay, thank you. If I don't answer them in any particular order, I apologize. Make sure I answer all your questions. Okay. Before Bernie, pre-Bernie, I'll tell you, he's changed my life. I always thought of myself as politically aware. I was pretty apolitical, certainly so. Now, my first recollection was probably when we landed on the moon, and then the next one was with Richard Nixon on his helicopter impeached. Then during the Iran-Contra affair, but I wasn't really one to really be able to connect all the dots necessarily. So it probably took me a while to probably have children, past the point in time when my children were born, and they were probably entering their double-digit years, and I really, it's all about timing, I guess. I hit the right radio station on the dial, and I heard the right guy on Friday mornings, lunch with Bernie, and everything seemed to connect from there. As far as my upbringing, I grew up in Highland Park, North Shore, Chicago. Went to Loyola Academy down in Wilmette, and I know you didn't go there because it was all men at the time. So, went to Western Illinois. I met my wife on the night of September 1st, 1983 at 8 p.m. No bullshit. This is no kidding. By 10:30 that night, she told me if she had a son, his name would be Stephen. And I told her a half hour later that if I had a daughter, her name would be Rachel. And that's what we got. That's a fact. So anyway, I've been in sales basically all my life, and for a short time there, I had my own sports cars and memorabilia store. I worked at a golf course, but when I was working at the golf course, my wife's a teacher, my kids are in school, and I went to my son's first t-ball game one day. And then I went to work the following day with a tear in my eye and a lump in my throat, telling my boss that I had to leave the golf course because I'm from a divorced family, but I had the good fortune having 2 great step-parents. And so I didn't want to miss out on my kids growing up. So I quit my job, and I've been with the same company right now for the last 21 years. So I don't know if that answered any or all of your questions. But I'm a middle class kind of guy, raised Catholic. I believe that my home is my church, my conscience is my God, and try to teach people or treat people the same way that I would expect. Now, if I understand correctly, you're next.
You talked about picking an issue. There's a few.
My issue is preventing gun violence. I'm a
I'm
member
sorry,
of
what's it?
gun violence. I'm a member of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. I'm a member of this organization for a couple of reasons: Chicago and Sandy Hook. And I have 2 young children. I send them to school every day, and every single day the thought flashes across my mind of whether a gunman will enter their school. They have had lockdown drills as young as kindergarten. I have to have this conversation with my kids. I support the Second Amendment, but I think gun culture in our country has become extreme. So I'm just curious to hear from your perspective, what can we do as citizens to bring that back to the middle? For example, at the federal level, there is concealed carry reciprocity, currently a bill that's out that might come up for a vote in the next year that would basically allow people to conceal carry their weapons in any state, no matter that state's laws. So it's a race to the bottom. If you come from a state that has no requirements to conceal carry a gun, you can come to Illinois and do it here too. Trying to pass that kind of extreme measure. Here at the state level, we're actually going to be talking later about licensing gun dealers. Like gun dealers in Illinois are not licensed at all. Is this an issue that you have any experience in, and what would you encourage us all to do to bring that conversation back to the middle? Because right now it's all the way up.
Right. Of the plethora of issues that are out there, I would say that that's not one that I've been, out really advocate for. But I think you had mentioned yourself. I think we can all agree that we agree with the Second Amendment. Okay, but when the Second Amendment was written, it muskets in that. Okay, so I don't think that we should be putting weapons of mass destruction in the hands of people in law enforcement who are there to preserve and protect. Okay, first of all, okay. I'm not looking to handcuff anybody on what they have to listen. Policemen, I couldn't do it. Okay, policemen, firemen, nurses, I couldn't do anything about it. So I take my hat to those individuals as well. But we have to come to a meeting in the minds. We have to appeal to other people's sensibilities. Listen, okay, something. My in-laws grew up on a farm. They're hunters. I think. Right? But where between a bazooka and a musket, where is that area? Okay. But I'm for common sense legislation. It comes in a lot of different forms, and again, it's sometimes progress happens too slow in a lot of instances. It comes incrementally. But one thing about the Sandy Hook, I think you can Google this to find this again. Back, I think it was in Japan. The same day, or within 24 hours, when 21 to 22 children died from some demonstrators, the same day in Japan, the same number of children were stabbed. Okay, none of them died. Okay, you can Google this somehow. It happened. So it just shows you the discrepancy about the violent outcomes of guns and yes.
So two things that they're not so much questions as comments and things that you can everybody else about. So I'm not in this content. I'm in 6, but I think it's really, really important that the two support each other in ousting our two very
Absolutely.
bad
Absolutely.
representatives. Let's, whether on canvas review or maybe phone calls review, I think that's really important. The other thing I would like you to think about is when you talked about putting a cap on Social Security,
Lifting the cap.
lifting it, to think about the fact that I'm a single parent. I was a single parent since the time my kids were 14 months old. I worked very hard. I also took care of both of my elderly parents and supported them. I was fortunate enough to have the skills and the job that commanded an income that I would reach that
Threshold.
threshold. Not often. I think in the 40 years of my career, I think I might have reached it 6 times. That was awesome. That was, the last 2 months more or more money I could save. Would you think about doing something where the threshold stayed where it was and then picked up again
No,
at a higher income?
I'd say at least 500,000, but I'll give him $1 million. I'll negotiate to $1 million. Okay. All right. No, but no.
I just want you to know that that
No,
was
no, no,
really
no, no, no.
important money to
No,
me.
I mean, I thought maybe I mentioned it, but it's lifting the cap of over 250,000 or 500,000, whatever the case is. But no, you're absolutely correct. No, I would at least.
I mean, you can't like a donut bowl in the middle
Yeah,
of there.
no, I totally agree. And actually, I would actually reduce the cap from 118,000 to something something less than 100,000. I would put a little bit more money in those previous pockets as well. And
At the end of the year, when all the stores want your money for Christmas.
absolutely. So, but thank you for doing that. Yes, please.
So what I would like to know from you is, would stand up against the president of the United States unilateral decision to start a war?
Absolutely.
Or would you stand up, have the guts to go on other congressmen, but also have the guts to say it's Congress's responsibility to authorize?
I absolutely would. My next door neighbor right now, he's in the Army, and he's 25 years old. Just found out yesterday he's 2 months older than my son. And for this budget increase that they want to have for the military-industrial complex, I believe in defending our country. I'll give our troops whatever they need. But what they also need is a job when they come back, when they get out of the service. That's right. They need to be taking care of the rest of their lives. Okay? It's hard. I see so many disconnects between people in Washington, their verbiage versus their action. It seems to be such a disconnect. We need to be the people that volunteer for us to sacrifice their lives in military instances. They shouldn't have to worry if we're going to take care of them when they come back. It shouldn't even be a thought in mind. Another thing that I think we have to keep in mind is this refugee ban. Okay? I can talk about this from when we created the refugee crisis. Keep in mind. As long as I'm on the campaign trail and as long as people allow for this discussion to be had, the original sin to this whole thing that is happening right now is our invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. That's the original sin. And people from Iraq went to Syria. Okay? And, since we don't visually see it, you don't really know the effect of what those things have on the community that they go into, right? So they went to farming communities and this and that, and then because of global climate change and the droughts that they occurred, they went into the larger cities in Syria, and we created this crisis. And for our president to turn our back on the very people, children, mothers, to turn our back, that is immoral. Okay? And also our refugee ban, I think, is also being used as a recruiting tool to a lot of the terrorist groups around the world as well. Unintended consequences have occurred by virtue of the lack of foresight by President Biden. So thank you very much for your kind service.
So we just have time for one more question.
I'm
So,
sorry.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, one more question.
Yeah.
That's right.
What mystifies me is that I think you and probably everyone here has someone who has cancer. And the cutback on the cancer funding would be so strange, such an odd thing to do. Because we have right here in these three communities, the Living Well Cancer Center to help cancer victims. And in spring, people from the community pay for it, not the government. But the government needs to continue to give money for the research so that we have these victims alive. I volunteer there. How do you feel
should not be cutting funding to the NIH, National Institute of Health. It's ridiculous. It's because of their findings for the corporate America, the big pharma, is able to capitalize on, they don't have to go through a lot of research and development, whether they get the results from the NIH or they buy out smaller companies that are already going through the R&D process. They don't have the expense they have to go through. So, we should increase the funding for those types of the NIH and the like. And it's involved. There's so many involved things that are going on.
It affects everybody,
Everybody.
you know,
Everybody.
here in the Tri-Cities.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much, guys. From the Q&A last Tuesday, I didn't feel any connection with what Randy was talking about. I mean, here's a man that we share values with. He's one of the potential candidates, which will be throwing his hat possibly into the ring. And I think as more and more people have been activated because of this nightmare that happened in November, like Jim was talking about, these candidates are going to need help, and they're going to need some people to step forward that have computer expertise and have time. So as we get to know these folks a little bit more over time, pick one, volunteer your time, your expertise. There's a lot of experts that I've met through these Indivisible groups, and let's help them get elected, because it is not going to be an easy task. As Jim was talking about, we are going to have to find the unregistered voters, the pockets of progressives, the independents, the moderate conservatives who would potentially vote for Jim Walz, and motivate them and inspire them to get out at the midterm elections and vote. So it's going to be a lot of hard work on these midterm elections, but I think that this is in play. I think this Congressional District 14 is in play, and I think it's something that we can potentially do. So one more time, Jim Walz.